Okay, we are going to add Emily. Try this again. Branding. Let's wait for her to join on. Perfect. There you are.
Okay, sorry about that. It just,
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. It just like froze on my end. Okay, so we'll just kind of do a refresh of what we were just saying. So basically, Emily and I went to CSU together back in the day, freshman year, and we reconnected on the Facebook page. Saw you did branding, websites. Do you want to tell people a little bit about what you do and how long you've been in the industry?
yeah, I'd love to. So, yeah, my name's Emily Day. I am the owner of Good Day Design, and I specialize in branding specifically for other boutique-sized businesses. So, usually I'm working directly with the business owner, which is part of what I love about it because there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of excitement, but it's pretty much anything from logo to website launch. So that can be, I work with a lot of people in Northern Colorado, but can do that with people anywhere. Honestly, the reach has been growing a little in the last handful of years. So, and there's not, I mostly work with other female-owned businesses, but the industry can be kind of across the board. I have a lot of people in the creative industry, but a lot of other people that might be in your home, like a home organizer. I've worked with like plumbers before, just kind of across the board. Anyone who needs a good visual representation for their business.
Love that.
And
That's perfect.
and then started that fall of 2016. So we're coming up on 9 years this year.
That's crazy. Amazing.
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you.
Congrats. Okay, so that actually is perfect because I am a social media strategist. And so I work with a bunch of different industries as well. And one of the things that I find with my clients is some people have brand kits to give to me, some people don't, especially small businesses
Yeah.
that have just started. So, in your professional experience, what types of clients need a brand kit and which ones can like really get away with it, and maybe like at what point in your business should you be like, okay, like it's time to invest in this because it's an investment, and I think
Yeah.
that it's a hard thing for people to like see the big picture. But what would
Yeah.
you say to that?
So there are a few different kind of decision making criterias that I would basically suggest people go through. One is if you have to make any upfront investments with your branding. So if you're a product-based business and you're going to have packaging, some sort of experience with your product, if you're going to have a storefront that involves signage, or if you have like a fleet of some sort or a team where you're going to have uniforms, if you're going to have like a fleet of vehicles that will have wraps on them, anything that requires upfront investment with your branding, the cost to rebrand is exponentially more if you don't like it the first go around and you've done all of these things and then you have to scrap it and start over. Then you're going to want to come out of the gate with strong branding. Like you're not going to want to redo that later. And if you don't, I have definitely spoken with people who are like, I really want to do this, but it's just going to cost too much, not to hire you, but to redo everything else that we've done. So that's a pretty big one, honestly, because you can get boxed in and like locked to something that you don't like. Um, Otherwise, anyone in a really saturated market, like photographers or coaches, maybe, you're gonna want to give people that little extra to like cling on to of like, I see me in what they're putting out. And
Mm-hmm.
so, because there are so many talented people out there, right? Like there's a ton of people that you can say, I want to have family photos done. Who among you can do this? And a lot of people can, but you kind of want people that like their style is going to align with yours. And you want to be able to see that just by observation. So,
Mm-hmm.
saturated market and upfront investment are two of the big ones, I think.
And you do website design too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the same thing. Like, if you were to talk about like a photographer, like if I go to a photographer's website and it looks like, "Ooh,"
Yeah. And you can tell right away too. And that's the thing with branding and websites that I always say, like, you want it to work for you, not against you. It's like it might not be the exact reason they hire you. They might not say, I loved your logo, and so I decided to hire you. But it might be why they decide not to.
yeah. And I think it has a lot to do with your pricing as well. Because
Yes.
at least for me, like in my industry, my processes and how professional things look when I give to people has a lot to do with the value of like how much I charge
Hmm.
and the way that my business is run. Whereas, and we say this all the time in the social media world as well, like if you go to somebody's social media page and it just looks like a bunch of like Pinterest quotes and like grainy photos and stuff
Yeah.
like people aren't going to take you seriously. And if you go ahead and charge a bunch of money, they're gonna be like, for what?
For
Like,
what?
but if you're somebody
Yeah.
that has like clear photos, clear videos, like clear messaging, things like look very like professional, then you're able to charge more and you're able to it's just a extension, it's an arm extension of how professional you are in your systems and all that. So I love that. Can I throw you for a loop for a question that just came
Oh,
to my mind?
yes. I like it.
Okay. Okay, so off the whim, can you tell me why somebody should go to somebody like you rather than using like an AI for their logos and stuff like that? Now,
Oh,
this is like such a thing that Canva and
yes.
everything is connected. Tell me.
Yeah. So as everyone, I think that the AI could touch what they do. Uh, it's top of mind. I've thought about it a lot. But the thing is, it's not that different of an answer, even than what I would have given for like why I would suggest when you're going for it that you want the long-term solution, why you wouldn't use like Fiverr, like a cheap kind of discount logo service, because you're going to tell them, like, say you're, I don't know, a bakery, and you're like, I want a logo that has a loaf of bread and my name. And then that's what they're going to do. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what we're doing is me hearing that very first idea that you have and saying like, okay, why a loaf of bread? What about your name? Do you want to stand out the most? Like, what is the style that you're going for? What is the interior going to look like? What are some other industry, like, what are some of your competitors doing? Let's like be in line, but let's stand out. And you're not going to get all of that from an AI unless you're just like someone geared for like digging deep anyway. It's like you have to come with every bit of information that you want to convey and that you're hoping it will deliver good advice on and good visuals. And if you don't have that, you're only still going to scratch the surface of the potential. In addition to on a more like technicality, it's like you can't own AI
That's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna
generated
ask because
imagery
I've
at this
heard about
point.
that for like copywriting and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
you can't copyright an AI generated logo. So,
Interesting.
and you can't copyright an AI, or sorry, not an AI, a Canva logo
I've
either,
heard that.
because everyone has access to the same material. So for like an intellectual property standpoint, like without being too lawyer speaky and giving that as advice, yeah, it's not yours.
I've heard
So
that about Canva.
yeah, and I think it's totally great as a jumping off point if you're not someone who needs it out of the gate, kind of like we were saying, that there's plenty of people that I work with them maybe 6 months into their business ownership. And that is such a good time because you've had a little bit of time to learn what works for you, learn your style, kind of have assessed your dream clientele at that point. Seeing kind of what's the standards in your industry, seeing where you can break norms a little bit, just kind of all of that intel that you don't have on day zero.
Yep.
You have a little bit more of that. So having a kind of DIY placeholder logo, I'm all for it if you're someone who's maybe in a digital space. you can change things easily because it's really a
Yeah.
file swap, but it's a huge upgrade for you. At that
Mhm.
point, I say that's totally fine. I have food bloggers specifically who I've seen that work really well for. Like they've built an audience and they're pairing a rebrand with something, some other elevated next step in their business. Like they are going to have a cookbook, but all of a sudden they're like, we need to have a color palette. We need like presence that we're
Mhm.
building around this
Mhm.
next step. So,
Mhm. Love that.
yeah, I kind of got on a tangent there, but basically, uh, yeah,
No, that's perfect. That's
you need
perfect. 'Cause,
too much
like, I've heard of all
expertise,
that.
yeah, to get in and have really good conversations with
Yeah, and
AI.
I would have never thought about somebody that like because for me, rebranding is not that big of a deal. It's
Sure.
exactly what you said. It's file swaps. But for somebody who has it's on paper, they have printouts, they have logos on everything. I mean, it's just a lot of work. So like you might as
Yeah.
well just do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, so then for our audience, so you obviously have people that are in the branding world, which means that they most likely, hopefully, have a social media presence as well.
Yes.
And I'm a social media strategist, so let's give our audience 3 tips that they can walk away with today just to make their content, if they're DIYing their
Hmm.
content, they're not in a place where they can spend thousands of dollars on branding, thousands of dollars on a strategist. Like, how can we help them give tangible advice? 3 things that they can do today to make their feeds look just more put together
Hmm.
so that people take them more seriously. What would you say?
So I would say top among any other thing you could do is just be consistent because
I agree.
being consistent is going to take you leaps and bounds further than even having, like says the graphic designer, it's like a sin practically, but like that even than having prettier graphics.
Yeah.
Like having consistent graphics that people will recognize, and when they're scrolling, they'll be like, oh, it's Jade, and
Yeah.
stop because they recognize you. They know that you are bringing great value. If you change things all the time, you're missing that opportunity. So choosing a color palette of 5 colors is usually a good attainable where you're not overwhelmed and you have the right amount of like you can have a dark background and you can have a light background and those can swap on each like a navy blue and a light pink and then you can
Mm-hmm.
swap those so around 5 colors is a good number to shoot for. Use the same headline font across the board and limit yourself to 3 fonts in general. Um, there will be a day will come when you're going to be like, this feels kind of like tired and boring, and like, I'm tired of looking at this, and just ignore that. Keep using the same pieces.
Yeah.
I promise it is the right move. So,
Yeah.
because I see
I
that
agree.
happen. You can see the day as the brand designer when someone's like, I'm tired of using these fonts, and they just go rogue.
100% that's me. It's because new Instagram fonts come,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
I'm like, oh, or I'll see somebody else's content. I'm like falling for
Uh-huh.
this trap, even though as a strategist, like I will see somebody else's content and I'm like, I like the way that they do their
Yeah,
stories. So then I'll be like, I think I'm just gonna change it. The beauty about social media though
yeah,
is like really 12 posts down, people really don't scroll. So
yeah,
like
for
just
sure.
stay consistent, like stay consistent, I would say, especially within like your stories, stay
Yeah.
consistent within like your which fonts you're using in your stories. And it's so easy, like you said, you're picking 5 colors, right? This is a huge
Yes.
tip that somebody taught me a long time ago. Is take that palette, whether you get it from Pinterest or wherever you're getting it, and put it into your favorites. And you can easily add
And
that
then,
and then add it as a background. You can just tap the color so that you have your exact shade that you're
yes.
using moving forward, which is a really easy tip for people. The other thing is your highlight bubbles, right? Like
Hmm.
if you don't have a graphic design bone in your body, you can take those 5 colors and make those colors, alternate those colors
Yes.
as your highlights,
Yeah,
right? Because then it just looks like
absolutely.
professional and it looks just like all put together. And then when you're creating reels, use those same colors as the background of your text. So if you have like a
Yes.
text font, use those colors as your background. And that makes it just look more cohesive
Hmm.
when it comes towards your fonts. Now, another thing that I'll say, like that I have noticed in my years of doing this, is making sure that if you use any types of filters or anything like that, you stay in line with the
Yeah.
same ones. Don't go like a dark filter, a light filter, a dark filter, a grainy filter, like whatever you choose, exactly like you said, choose it and stick with it.
Yes. And the great thing about it is as long as you kind of have that dialed in, it should save you so much time. And it
Yes.
should make the posting process less intimidating and easier because you just have your like click, 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 and you're good to go. Which, I mean, that is like, don't we all want time saving?
Just less, it's just like less decision fatigue. You're already
Yes.
worried about like what should I post, what should my hook be, I have no idea what I want to post today. So like once you figure that piece out, like the design aspect of it, like you can still create content that comes out and looks good and feels good and has strong messaging to it, connects with your audience. But then also like it looks professional on your feed, because I always tell my clients and everybody else on my page, your social media pages are your resume. They're your
Oh,
portfolio.
yeah.
So you need to be able to make sure that people have a true representation of what you do, who you are, and how professional you are. Because when they come to your page, you have like 3 seconds for somebody to be like when I came to your page, I was like, oh, she's really good at what she does. Literally didn't scroll down. I just
Yeah.
saw the top couple squares and I was like, she's good. Like I can tell right away. And that's the feeling that other people are going to get when they come to your page as well. So those little tips are going to make everything come together a little bit more for your audience of whatever you're selling or whatever your business is. Just really easy tips.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Consistency is the word.
Yes, love that. Okay, well, I feel like we gave some good tips for our audiences. If
Yes.
you would like to follow Emily, or if you have any branding questions, or if you're looking to do branding, go follow Emily. What's your Instagram handle?
It's at Good Day Design Co.
Okay, at Good Day Design Co. And if
Yes.
you're on her feed and you are looking for social media tips, I give a ton of free tips on my page. Also, I
And
have
they're
some.
beautifully designed, by the way. I was like,
Thank
you're
you.
doing a
I've
great job.
Thank you. So yeah, I have a ton of free tips. I have courses, like all those different types of things for small budgets and high budgets. So give us both a follow. And yeah, I hope that it served a couple of people. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for asking, Jade. That was awesome.
Of course. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Bye.